Hello and welcome to Thursday Night Live. I'm your host, Dr. Rita Louise, and thank you all for tuning into the show today. So what a week. I'm going to say the last 2 weeks. I don't know about you, but I think they've been very challenging. Not quite sure what's in the air, but it's not lavender. How's that? So today's topic is, if I can get my cursor to work, is I'm going to talk about hope, the concept of hope, the good part of hope and the not so good part of hope. And it's the not so good part of hope that I have been hitting very hard myself, and it has not been fun. But I think we have all been in the place where we do hit the hard part of hope. So hope is a feeling that we end up with the feeling that we can improve ourselves, that if we persist, if we keep trying, if we do more, that there's so much more that we can do and achieve the things that we are hoping for. It's a belief that your future will be better than today. That is, if you can make things happen. But hope is more than just a fleeting feeling or a simple wish. It's a powerful cognitive motivational state that shapes how we approach life, set our goals, and maintain our drive to achieve them, even when the going gets tough. And so we've all had that experience where there's something challenging going on in our lives. And we know that if I do this, and if I achieve this, and if I kind of put my head down and keep moving forward, I'm going to get to that magic play, the eye in the sky. And that's one of the things that hope does, is it gives us the feeling that things are going to be okay. Like, if I do this, things will be okay. But what happens when what you're hoping for is really hopeless? That the changes you want to accomplish can't be achieved, and all the time, energy, and emotions you're putting into creating a better tomorrow are really for naught. What happens? Can hope become less of an empowering force and more of an anchor, preventing you from moving forward? You know, we end up with this thought that says, if I push through a little longer, if I try a little bit more, if I meditate and vision board and do all these things, it will get better. But what if it doesn't get better? And this is the kind of hope that can prevent you from acknowledging what is really going on. That the job that you have is never going to meet your needs, that the relationship you're in is never going to get better or be the source of your happiness. And think about that, especially in the relationship space. You know I have my like dumb girl club girls out there where you're in, and guys too, where you're in a relationship and you try and you tolerate and you put up and you try to change in order to make the other person happy, so that the relationship will be better, with the hope. And I'm saying that with the hope of, if I do this, it will get better. And so many people get stuck, and I'm going to say in relationships, but it happens in jobs, it happens in projects we might be working on, with that hope, in the hope that it's going to get better. And that is the emotional trap that hope can create for you. Um, and I didn't write down where this quote came from, so forgive me. But hope is like a weaker form of expecting something. When you expect something, you're sure it will happen, or you hope for sure that it's going to happen. But when we hope for something, we have no idea if it will happen, but we would like for it to happen. This kind of hope, this wishing, this desiring, this expecting kind of hope keeps you tethered in a cycle of dissatisfaction and burnout, where you're expending all of your energy waiting for change instead of seeking a healthier, more fulfilling opportunity for yourself. And recognizing this dynamic, recognizing that the situation is hopeless, that the relationship is hopeless, that this job is hopeless, can be the turning point of the situation, giving you the opportunity to let go of the false hope that you're holding on to and move forward to a future that supports your well-being and growth, and maybe just a little happiness. So here's some bullet points, and they're the 4 potential downsides to hope. Hope can come loaded with expectations. Expectations are actually premeditated. They're actually premeditated resentments. I didn't really get that one. Hope can be a way to avoid feeling something painful, preventing us from feeling sadness, thus keeping us stuck under a warm blanket. We can cling to hope and even become addicted to it, preventing us from taking action towards something new. And that's the key piece, keeping us from action towards something new. And hope can be a shiny lacquer masking fear and uncertainty, attempting to restore a false sense of control. So those are the 4 psychological downsides of hope. When we let when we let go of this kind of false hope, we're instantly free to think about other things instead of continually trying to force things to move in the direction that we want. Giving hope up it doesn't mean that everything's lost. It means a new beginning, a new start, a new adventure. And because you're letting go of what you've been doing. So if you're clinging on to something, hoping against all odds that it's going to change, it's time to let it go. Through it, we can empty ourselves of our preconceived ideas about how things should be and just be. And you never know. It might be better than you expected. But I want to share a story. I mean, and I'll just be real. I have a lot of stuff going on in the background in my personal, professional life that I'm just choosing not to share here at the moment. But I have a client, actually it's my client's daughter, but she's a client too, who had this job, and the job required her to work like in the morning on this day and in the evening on this day, and would have like Monday and Thursday off, I mean, just weird hours, doing the like, you have to open and then you have to close. And she was the manager, and there was just a ton of pressure, and health-wise, she wasn't doing that great, and she was totally stressed out all the time, and I kept telling her, it's like, maybe you should let go of that job, but she wouldn't let go of the job because it paid good money, and she hoped that if she stuck with it, it would calm down and get better, which it didn't. But then she got let go, and so she was all stressing out about that, and so I was talking to her, and I was like, but they did you a favor. They let you go. They did something for you that you would have been unable to do for yourself. And I said, and it really like shifted her energy, because she knew, because it was me, and she knew I was right. And the interesting thing is, within 2 weeks, maybe 3, it was a very short time. It gave her a chance to discharge. It gave her a chance to like spend some quality time with her son. I mean, all this stuff. And she ended up getting a job where she was working 9 to 5, and the job was like 10 minutes away from her house. And so it was closer, it had better hours, she wasn't working weekends, she could spend time with her son, she was making as good of money. I mean, it was just like win, 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 win once she got to let go of that other job. Now, granted, she didn't let go of it herself, but that's okay because they made it happen for her. So that's all good. It's all good. Anyway, guys, so before I kind of switch over and start taking your readings, this show is brought to you by soulhealer.com. So if there's going on in your life, you know, and you're maybe feeling hopeless, or you're in a relationship and you don't know what to do with it, and you need some guidance and insights, you know, should I stay or should I go? And if I do stay, what do I need to do? You know, those are the times that you should reach out to me and schedule a private consultation. And you can do that by going to my webpage, soulhealer.com. This show is also brought to you by, hang on one second, Institute of Applied Energetics. That's appliedenergeticsinstitute.com, where you can learn to become a medical intuitive counselor, or energy medicine practitioner, all from the comfort of your home. And to start your journey, you can download my free Jumpstart Your Intuition Guide, and that's at appliedenergeticsinstitute.com. And if you're listening to the show in a repeat form, you're on Rumble, you're on BitChute or Substack, and any of those formats, and you want to join the live chat, please come to Just Energy Radio on YouTube Thursday night, 7 p.m. Central. Enjoy the fun. Get a free on-air psychic reading. And just before I go, hey guys, anybody that's watching this, I would just really appreciate it if you would like or subscribe or connect with my different social media things. One of the things I've been doing is I've been posting a lot to Substack. I mean, a lot to Substack. And so that's at Dr. Rita Louise at Substack. So if you're not one of my followers or subscribers, I'd appreciate you. Okay. Let the games begin. Okay, so the first one in the chute is Marco, except he didn't ask for a reading. He says, upvoted, Rita, you look in fuego. I guess that means on fire. Hair amazing. Thank you, Marco. And then ERRT Radio says, happy Thursday, Dr. Rita, and your hair looks amazing. As always, may I please have a reading number 3? You sure can, ERRT Radio, and you are the grand prize first person of the day winner thing to get the first reading. Okay, and if I'm not making any sense, it has been a long day. A long day. Okay, and this is your card for today. So ERRT Radio, I'm just going to say this. I just get the impression that you're experiencing some confusion around what you should be doing, which is creating some worry for you. I mean, it's knocking you out of your out of the present. I mean, I kind of feel like you and I have the same energy because I've been a little bit all over the place. And I'm going to add back in, I think the energy on the planet has just been overwhelming for a lot of people. Too many moving parts. Not the fear-based like it was in COVID, but you can't really settle down because you don't really know what's going to happen tomorrow. And even people that have great tools to work with, I think, are being challenged by it. I was talking to a friend today who was having issues. Um, and he was saying that there were all these like solar flares going on and sunspots, and somebody else said, you know, like it's been really bad since the new moon, or we're going through a new moon. I don't know. I just feel like there's just a lot going on that's making it more challenging for us to ground and relax and discharge. So ERRT radio, if you're experiencing all of this, you're just being sensitive. How's that? I'm personally very ready for this all to be done. All right, Master Player. Hey, Master Player says evening and number 3 as well, please. You sure can, Master Player. And as always, if what I'm saying is resonating with you, I would love to get some feedback from you. All right, so Master Player, that's your card. So Master Player, I just am feeling like you're kind of, and I'm going to say angry. What came into my head first was you just want to scratch somebody's eyes out. We probably, you know, I shouldn't say out loud. So like, don't kill anybody right now, because there would be evidence that I'm like doing a reading and I'm saying, hey, you're going to scratch somebody's eyes out. So if you do kill somebody, don't scratch their eyes out. Okay. You know, I mean, I'm feeling kind of the same energy with you, that you're just having a really, a more challenging time grounding and discharging and just being. I also am feeling like that there is more awareness, that you're having more awareness of where your emotional space is. And I feel like that's bothering you. But in the bigger picture of things, you know, taking a step back from it, I feel like that's actually a good thing, because you're noticing where your emotional space is, where your body is, where your energy is. And even though you might not be liking it, and even though it might be uncomfortable, you're noticing it, which gives us more opportunities to think on it, reflect on it, and possibly change it. So good. I mean, not great, but good. All right. And then Unar says, good evening, Dr. Rita. May I have a 1 tonight? Thanks. You sure can. All right. Unar, that's your card. All right, so Unar, you have some good energy today. Interesting. You know, so I get the impression that you are seeing or feeling all of the discord going on over here, but you've been able to, see, I'm going to have to like kind of sit with this a second. You've been able to kind of step out of it. And what you're saying to me about that is you're not taking it personal. And because you're not taking it personal, you're able to separate out your energy and your emotional space from this thing, the thing, which is helping you stay more grounded and more happy. Happy. That's a good word. So good job. Good job. All right. Christine. Hi, Christine. Hello, how are you? May I have a reading number 2, please? You sure can. Okay, and that's your card for today. Okay, this card already came up once, so interesting. Uh, Okay, so on this show, I don't normally go here, but I'm going to go here for you, Christine. So, what I'm feeling about you is that your body is seeming kind of dehydrated right now. Um, and when I go think to myself or bring into the equation, well, if you drank water, will that kind of balance you back out? And I'm getting no. And so it might be to your benefit to get some electrolytes or get some, electrolyte kind of drink. I hate saying Gatorade, but it's got electrolytes. Um, the sad thing is many of the electrolyte balancing stuff. So they used to sell electrolytes in a little tub with a little teeny spoon, and you took your little spoonful and put it in water. And I have not been able to find that. All I've been able to find are, pre-mixed, super sugar, nasty things that I won't drink. Um, but that's what they want me to share with you, is that you need something to balance out your sodium, chlorine, and potassium, because it does seem a little bit off. And now that I just said that out loud, it seems like your potassium is low. And so if you don't want to do that, maybe eat a banana, eat a couple of bananas over the next few days, just to increase your potassium level. I don't know why they're sharing that with me, but they wanted me to share that with you. Okay. Uh, they changed this thing and it's weird. All right, that's not for me. ERRT ready. If you're talking to other people, I need you to do it in lowercase, please. All right, Yvonne. Hey, Yvonne. Dr. Rita, can I get a reading, please? Number 2. You sure can, Yvonne. Okay, and that's your card for today. Okay, so I'm just going to start talking. So Yvonne, kind of the first thing, this is a little nebulous to me, is that you have the energy, and I'm just translating it to like, screw it. When I look at your energy, you're kind of, like up here, not quite in the astral plane, but in this, a little dissociated from your body. And I don't have an issue with that, because a lot of the time when we dream, or we're looking to create, or we're looking to work in the future, but be more open to that dreamy, open possibility, which is more what I'm sensing, we're kind of dissociated from our body. And I feel like you've kind of moved into that place, because doing stuff on the earthly plane and doing stuff on the physical plane and trying to figure it out that way was not working. And so now you're like, screw it, because it just is, and it just will be. And you're done trying to fix it, and you're done worrying about it. So you're done. And so it leaves the door open for your imagination to find something else or something different. And that's what it's trying to do right now. So, cool. I'll be curious what comes in. All right, Miss Amy. Hi, Dr. Rita. Happy Thursday. I have a reading a number 3 reading today. Thank you. You sure can, Amy, and you're welcome. And again, you know, what I'm saying is making sense to you because, again, a little bit of a rough day. So I always have a little performance anxiety issues when I'm doing these readings. And sometimes they're like even more right on because I have this weird energy going on in myself. Okay, Amy. All right, and that's your card for today. Well, I'm really, you know, either it's me or there's really this theme going on tonight. So, Amy, I get the impression that you've just been kind of like going along and minding your own business and staying away and just like doing the Amy groove. And I get the impression that I'm going to say someone, I'm not feeling as much of a situation, but I'm going to say someone um, really got under your craw and kind of hurt your feelings. Um, and I feel like you're trying to not take it personal, but it has been a little bit challenging for you to kind of separate that out, even though I feel like there's part of you that realizes that there wasn't ill intent meant, but it doesn't change the energy either. You know, and as I've been saying since the beginning of the show, you know, I think there's just this really weird energy going on. You know, so if you guys have been noticing just this discomfort in the air, I would love for you to comment on that. You know, because sometimes you think, well, it's just me, but then, you know, you have enough people saying, yeah, it's just really weird, that we can all just own it and go and get the peace of mind at it and go, okay, the energy's weird, and I just need to make it through till we get to the next piece. So, okay, let's see. All right, so Carrie Ann wants to ask a question. So Carrie Ann, you can ask a question, but if it's about a personal issue that you want a reading on, you would need to schedule a private consultation for that. I'm more than happy to pick a card and do a reading based on a card. If it's a question about your aura, your chakra, or hope, or anything other than personal stuff, I am more than happy to answer that. Hi, Yvette. Nice to see you. Michael. Hey, Michael. Okay, Michael, I'm going to give you a reading. Ha, 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 ha. And I'm going to give you a 2, Michael. Okay, and that's your card for today. So, Michael, what you're showing me, and I'm very proud of you, I feel like there are some challenges that are in front of you and that you are looking at these situations, which, I mean, Michael, I've known you a long time. So where you would have looked at these situations in the past and been really worried, really scared, really upset, just, you know, not handling it real well. And I feel like today your energy is like, I got this, you know, and it's just not, it's not a big deal. I mean, it is a big deal, but on the inside, it's not seeming like this overwhelming deal. I'm impressed. I'm impressed. So great job. And You're breathing. You're breathing. Okay, so Ricky's here. Oh, well, I got a number 2. All right, hang on. Ricky, I'll be right back. So Michael said reading number 2. Ha ha ha, I already did reading number 2. I must have been psychic on you, Michael. Okay, so Ricky says, good evening, Dr. Rita. Thank you so very much. Happy Thursday. You're looking absolutely stunning. Thank you, Ricky. Stunningly amazing, beautiful as always. May I have number 2, please? Thank you. You sure can, Ricky. See how often this card shows up on the bottom? I mean, there's only 5 of these in the deck. And okay, so literally, that was the bottom. I cut the cards. That was the card. They really like to pop up, and I am just so happy when they're like shuffled at the bottom, which means I don't have to read them. Okay, Ricky wanted a 2. That's your card, Ricky. Okay. So, Ricky, one of the things that you're showing me is that you have been doing things to calm down, and I'm going to say your anxiety. It's interesting because the images in this card, depending on how you want to interpret them, are really about kind of addictive behavior, like using food to calm your anxiety, using sex to calm your anxiety. But I feel like for you, you're working with some better tools, maybe with a little bourbon to kind of make it through stuff. I just am sensing this like neutrality around you. I feel like the energy just really wants to come and get you, but you're not letting it because you're just being chill. So cool. And thanks about the nice hair comments. All right. Drusilla, hey girl, haven't seen you in a while. Good evening, been absent for a few weeks. Good to see you again. Good to see you again. May I have a number 2, please? You so can. Okay, so I'm looking down here a little bit, and like ERT Radio said, great reading, Dr. Rita. And if you could comment, I don't think there's a whole lot of stuff in here, about what you're experiencing, because again, and I'm asking you guys, please, if it's been weird for you, please do share. All right, Drusilla. Ooh, good card. That's your card. Man, we got a theme going. Okay, so Drusilla, okay, so even though that this is the image on this card, what I feel like is, all right, the picture you're showing me is that like you're in a bubble and you're like tapping on the bubble, like, let me out, let me out, let me out. I feel like you are so ready for the next, whatever the next is going to be, because you're not really digging like what's going on in the here and now. And that it will be better. But I just love it. It's like, let me out. It is so nice to see you, lady. All right, and here's Don. Why do you always say you're so late? You're not that late. I mean, you're not late because you're here and the show's not over. And he would like a number 2. You sure can, Don. Okay, Don. Ooh, All right, that's your card for today. So, Dawn, when I look at your energy, I feel like you've been kind of holding the status quo, and I don't know how long you've been here, but I'm going to kind of go with the funky energy on the planet angle with you. Um, Tempers have been tense. People have not been understanding. There's miscommunication, misunderstandings. Um, our emotions and our senses have just been very sensitive and on edge. That's a great way to say it, on edge. And Dom, when I look at you in this moment, it's like you're maintaining, you're oming, you're good. But I want to give you that piece of warning. What is that? The energy dynamic is very fragile. And so just move forward with care, move forward with caution, um, and really pay attention to anything that does trigger you or might trigger you. Um, just because, it's just a much more sensitive period right now. Um, I mean, it's my hope that nothing's going to bother you and you are just going to maintain this ohm. And so if there's something that happens and you want to get upset about it, have my head in your voice and go, Dr. Rita said that, something might happen and trigger me that really is kind of stupid. So I'm just not going to let it bother me. I'm just going to let it go and let it go by. Okay. Yay, Don. All right. So ERRT Radio said, great reading, Dr. Rita. Thank you. You're so welcome. And then, hey, Kelly, how are you? Happy Thursday. I'm ready to enjoy a beautiful weekend. Me too. And then she says, I'm stoked. It's my Friday. I'll have a number one. Yay, Friday. Okay, and Kelly, this is your card. So Kelly, do you have like some evil plan that you're like brewing up in the background that you haven't really like put out there? Um, I don't know, the word like conniving and scheming are coming up. Not that it's a bad thing. I feel like you are trying to get to some goal, to some place, but it's kind of like hush hush. I can't tell anybody about it. Even though you want to, but I feel like you feel like it's in your best interest to just keep it close to the vest, which you're doing a great job at. Um, and I feel like the value of kind of keeping it to yourself is a good choice. So good. Don't know what I'm talking about, but I hope that makes sense. And then Master Player said some good information there. Thank you, Rita, and great hair. Oh, thank you, Master Player. And if you guys are getting value from these readings, I would really appreciate it if you would go over to my tip jar at soulhealer.com/live. That's soulhealer.com/live. And leave me a little something in the tip jar. I'd really appreciate it. All right. Okay, Don, I already got you. And then Christine said, that's awesome. I actually just randomly bought some Gatorade yesterday. Thank you for the help as always. Well, that is very interesting, Christine. So maybe on an intuitive level, or maybe while you're in the supermarket, Spirit was saying, hey, okay, here we, hey, Christine, maybe you should go get some Gatorade and put it in the cart. And you did. You listened. And then here I am saying, hey, girl, you need some Gatorade. You listen, pat yourself on the back. Oh, see, that like totally makes me smile. Thank you. Thank you. Marco loves my top. Thank you, Marco. Yvonne says, yes, exactly. Thank you, Yvonne. Chris Kelly says, performance anxiety. You're doing great. And then Yvonne said, nailed it. Thank you, Yvonne. Unar says, wonderful and accurate reading tonight. Thanks. I have to tell you guys, this week has just been like, I was ready to throw my computer out the window today. If you've ever tried to set up a TikTok account, because everybody wants you to do stuff on your phone. Shoot the video on your phone, do this on your phone, do this on your phone. I don't do things on my phone. It's a pain in the ass. I'd rather just sit at my desktop and work. I had to go to the doctor. I had an annual checkup thing, and they took my blood pressure. I'm like, yeah, if it's a little elevated, I'm just going to tell you I understand why it would be. Okay. So Unar says, wonderful and accurate reading tonight. Thanks again, as always. Marco says, I like it when Rita talks with her eyes closed. Thank you, Marco. And then Kelly says, there is a lot of weird energy out there right now. I can roll with that, though. I feel like we're at a pivotal time in the world right now. No kidding. No kidding. Anthony, Rita, I'm still single. Is it because I am a contactee and a UFO nut? Yeah, but you were my conference boyfriend. Okay, so I don't really answer questions like that, Anthony, on the show, but I'm going to pick a card for you, and you just never know what will come through. I mean, there are women UFO nuts. I mean, not me. I mean, I'm just weird. Not a UFO nut. I'm more like a Mounds bar, no nuts. All right, that's your card for today. Okay, so Anthony, you opened the door and they just stepped right through, and you have to love me after I say what I'm going to say. So maybe you need to let go of the shame of being a contactee and a UFO nut and just own your weirdness, because you're weird. Like I'm weird. Like I totally own my weirdness. I'm good with it. I own my shit. It's like, it's my shit. And so maybe you need to own it and not be afraid that someone's going to be turned off by it. Because it is you, and there's not anything to be ashamed of. It's not like you asked for it. I mean, maybe being the UFO nut is kind of, but anyway, but maybe that is what's keeping you from attracting a partner to you, is because you're trying to conceal this aspect of yourself that, it is you. And I still love you, and you're my conference boyfriend and everything. I hope that makes sense. I hope you still love me after this. And then Unar says, you're so fun, Dr. Rita. Just want to let you know. Thank you, Unar. Okay, so Dinah says, who is my higher self? I don't know, but I will pick a card for you. And I'm going to do a number 1 because that's how we fly on this show, is people give me a card, how many times they would like for me to shuffle the cards. If you would like specific information about who your higher self is, then you might want to schedule a private consultation by going to my webpage, soulhealer.com. Okay, Dinah. Dang, this is the 3rd time this card's come up. All right, that's your card for today. So it's interesting, Dinah. I feel like your higher self tries to get your attention all of the time. I feel like when information is being transmitted to you, you kind of turn your head away and you just really don't listen. So I'm going to challenge you that, and this is going to seem a little backwards, but it really does work. If something happens and sometime earlier in the day, a couple of minutes before whatever, you get this feeling about something, but then you don't pay attention to it, and you move on. So I'm going to use, okay, it's like, I have like a 3, when I'm doing this work, I have like a 3-second memory. Christina, so Christina got the little message at the supermarket, hey, pick up the Gatorade and take it home with you. But she didn't know that she was going to need the Gatorade until she got her reading tonight. But she listened, and now she's prepared because she's got the Gatorade. And so that's why I was validating that she had the psychic moment in the supermarket and got the Gatorade. Now, it is perfectly okay for you to have this psychic moment and think, oh, I should pick up some Gatorade, and then not pick it up. And then you're getting a reading today, and I say, hey, you should get something like Gatorade. And you think, man, I was going to get Gatorade yesterday, and I didn't get it. That's how you learn to connect to and recognize the voice of our higher self. So it doesn't matter whether you do what they tell you or not, but just the fact that you acknowledge and recognize, wow, they told me to do that, and okay, I didn't listen, and now I need to go take care of that. So I hope that makes sense to you. All right. Dawn says, your hair looks fab tonight. Thank you, Dawn. All right. Amy says, right on, Rita. Not quite over it and have pulled away a bit. Not so sure I would have handled this particular situation if I were in their shoes. So I'm trying to figure it out. And again, like I've been kind of saying through this show, the energy is weird right now. And so you have to be nice to yourself. Don't beat yourself up. Don't beat other people up either, because I think tensions are running really high right now, and people are just like on edge. And so if people are snapping at you or feelings are getting hurt, recognize, I think everybody is kind of on edge right now. Okay. Hey, Joe, nice to see you. And Dawn says, yes, you are right on. I'm having to really maintain lately. Good job, Dawn. And Drusilla says, thank you so much. Good reading tonight. The right place at the right time. Perfect. Uh-oh. And then Anthony says, is this live? Sorry, yeah, Anthony. It just went out over the airwaves, and I can't edit it. Sorry. Anthony says, oh, I see. We need to be on her YouTube feed to get responses. Us Facebook posts must not be up to date. No. So, Anthony, this is how it works. If you're tuned in on Facebook, you can only access Facebook people. If you're tuned in on YouTube, you can access YouTube people. In StreamYard, it brings those feeds together so I can read through them all. There are more people that log into the show on my Just Energy Radio channel. And so if you want to come check the show out, maybe go there, like and subscribe and sign up for notifications and all that good stuff. And I love seeing you, Anthony. Thank you so much. All right. And then Kelly says, thank you so much. You are on point with that reading. I've been plotting the many ways to get my way. I don't know if I should be using my will. I don't know. Maybe. All right. Drusilla said about the electrolytes. I've been using some for a while and was shopping tonight to stock up. 2 websites. I use Amazon and VitaCoast. Be sure to watch out how much sodium. I've also used the non-GMO and sugar-free. I use stevia. You know, but Drusilla, are those like what packets that you add to your water and they're like supposed to be hydrating liquid things? I mean, because seriously, I remember having a little tub about this big with a little teeny spoon and you just scooped it in, and that's all it was sodium, chlorine, and potassium. And depending on how you mix it, your water tasted really salty, but it didn't have any flavor, any sweetener, anything. And you would just mix it with a drink or whatever. Yeah. All right. So Joe would like a 3. You sure can, Joe. Where are we? Okay. All right, Joe, that's your card for today. You know, so everybody else has just been kind of like in like defensive mode and like, oh, don't touch me, brr. But you are like, I just get the impression that you are in like forward advance and kind of attack mode. And, you know, you're not going to take me down. I just feel like, you know, the sword of God, is that a thing, is in front of you. And that it is helping you move through the challenge that you're experiencing right now. Because if you didn't have that total alignment strength in what you were doing and the conviction to do what you're doing, then you would just fall in a ball over there and probably just cry. So whatever is going on, Joe, make sure that you're nurturing yourself. Make sure that you give yourself some downtime. I get the impression that this is something that you'll be able to maintain for a while, but not a super long time. You know, so use it wisely, grasshopper. Oh. Okay, so they have the little tubs. I'm going to have to go look again. I wasn't able to find it the last time I looked. And then Kelly says, own it, Tony. I'm a weirdo. People love it. They call me the crazy lady or just crazy for short. Okay. And then Marco says, Rita never replies to me. Well, Marco, I can't tell when you're talking to me because, okay, now, Marco, you know I love you and I've known you for a long time. But you chit-chat, and I love that you chit-chat with people, but I can't separate out your chit-chatting with me or your chit-chatting with other people. So if you want me to read it, do it in caps, and then everybody else lowercase. Love you. Master Player, great show. And once again, great hair. Thank you. All right. And then Amy says, hope your week finishes out on a high note. Great topic, super fun show. Thank you. You're welcome. And then Don says, Dr. Rita, great show. I hate when I'm late getting here. I love your show so much. Well, I love you too, Don. And then Joe says, thank you so much, Rita. You nailed it. And Joe, again, there is a finiteness to your ability to hold that energy. And so just use it wisely. That's the best that I can say. Anyway, guys, that's the end of the stack. And so I am going to say goodnight. Again, if there are things going on in your life and you need some insights and guidance, please go to my webpage, soulhealer.com, and schedule a time for a private consultation with me. Anyway, till next week, I'm Dr. Rita Louise. This is Thursday Night Live. Be blessed.